Hi there, and welcome to this overview of our new Kontakt library, Space Age Voices. This is the next addition to our Space Age Orchestra series, which already includes the volumes Space Age Rhythm and Space Age Pop. This new library adds the authentic sound of a mid-century studio vocal ensemble to the collection. It features a group of 3 elite New York City session singers performing stylistically specific articulations and techniques inspired by the studio vocals of the late 1950s and early 1960s. I believe it truly delivers a unique personality and charm that is right at home with music in the style of artists such as Henry Mancini, Esquivel, Quincy Jones, Russ Garcia, Les Baxter, and all their contemporaries. The content for the library was recorded to tape at the iconic Sears Sound Studio A here in New York City using their unrivaled collection of rare microphones. With these sounds, you're going to be able to create swooping melodies, smooth gliding chords, and zippy vocal hooks and dial in your perfect tone using the 3 mic positions. This video is not going to be like a technical explainer. I'm just going to give an introduction to the features of the library and what's included. So let's get started. The library comes with 8 NKI files for the full version of Native Instruments Kontakt. An important note, it does not support the free Kontakt player. You need the full version, and you'll need version 6.7 or higher. So what's included? There's 2 long vowel / vocalise patches, oo and ah, each of which has 5 articulations. There's 2 legato modes and special release samples. Then we have 3 short syllables, zu, ba, and du, that also each have 5 articulations, including a special short note repetition feature. Then we have a dedicated patch for unpitched cha and ch sounds, which is kind of akin to the sound of a vocally sourced shaker or percussion instrument. And then there's 2 more extra patches for unpitched exclamations and effects and spoken words and phrases. The composers and arrangers in the style that we're trying to cover here, particularly Esquivel, generally used 1 syllable per song. So that's why the patches in this library are organized the way they are. Another trait of the era was to treat the vocal ensemble similarly to an instrumental section in the orchestra. So for example, there's no lyrics usually, and the voices would handle melodic duties for, say, an 8-measure section, and then lay out and hand over the lead role to the trumpets for the next 8 measures. So all these sounds have sort of been developed with that sort of approach and concept in mind. Okay, so let's have a listen. We'll start with the longs first. As I mentioned, there are 5 articulations. Legato, with 2 legato modes. Then there's polyphonic sustains, semitone glides up, and semitone glides down, and falls. You can also trigger some special fall release samples using a key switch on your keyboard. I prepared a quick example, so let's take a listen through to all those articulations with the long oo patch. Okay, now let's listen to the ah patch. Again, this is the same set of articulations. Okay, here it is. As you can hear, the legato articulation is, of course, monophonic. All the other articulations for the longs are polyphonic, so you can play chords. There are two legato modes, smooth and agile. Smooth mode has longer transitions and is sort of best suited for slower passages or phrases with wide intervals where you really want to hear an audible glide between the notes, and the transition time is a bit longer to achieve that. The agile mode has shorter, less pronounced transitions and is intended more for faster passages. It's sort of like your bread and butter legato. By default, the velocity that you play a target note with sets the active legato mode for that transition. I'll do another video where I go into all the detail about how you can fine-tune how this behaves, but for now let's just have a quick listen. So what this means is if I play a soft velocity, you're going to hear a longer glide between the notes. If I play the same notes with a harder velocity, the transition is shorter. So take a listen. Okay, so now let's listen to the short syllables. There's 5 articulations for these. There's what we call mediums. These are medium length syllable notes that are not looped and don't have legato. Then there's shorts. These are short notes with a full attack on the initial consonant sound. Then there's short repetitions. These are short notes with a special transition that simulates cutting off a held note and reattacking with a new note. Then we have long falls and short falls. Let's listen to the zoo shorts. This patch was really one of the main reasons I made this library, and I think it's really fun. So here it is.
Zoo, 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 zoo.
And then we have the ba shorts. And finally, here are the do shorts.
Do, 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 do.
Just a note about the short repetitions articulation. This is more than a simple set of samples. It's got some scripting associated with it, and the articulation is intended for cases where a repeated note that starts with a consonant would truly cut off the last note. So the way it works is that the script will attempt to judge when a repetition sample should be played, and if not, it will just play a standard short sample with a full attack and no transition portion. So like the same samples that are on the normal short articulation above. In a case where a note would be cut off and a reattack would happen, it plays an alternate special sample to achieve that effect. So it's best used for fast passages of connected short notes and true repetitions of the same note. I'm going to go into more detail on this in another video. Okay, next we have a very fun patch. It's the cha and the ch. Let's have a quick listen.
Cha, 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 cha. Ch, 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 ch.
So you're hearing that there are sort of whispered chas, and then there's the harder ch sounds. We have a variety of different lengths, including some special repetition samples, and you can use these almost as like a human shaker kind of sound. It's very fun to play. Then we have a patch of what I'm calling exclamations. These are unpitched extras such as wows and woos and different falls and rises, etc., etc. So here's how some of them sound.
Wow! Woo! Woo! Shh! Ah! 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 Wow! 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 Ah! Ah! Ah!
And lastly, we have a little patch of kitschy spoken words and phrases.
Cha, 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 bossa nova, mambo, samba. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Blast off! Space Age Pop!
So that's a very quick listen down to what's included. It's really just a taste of what you can do with this library, and I hope you'll head over to the website to hear some of the other demos where you can see these instruments in action in the context of a full musical track. The library has 3 microphone positions, and they were all recorded through the custom Neve console at Sear Sound Studio A. You can adjust the balance of the 3 positions with their associated volume knobs or mute a mic with the mute buttons. Close Mic 1 is a vintage Neumann U67 tube mic. It was recorded to an Ampex tape machine at 30 IPS. Close Mic 2 is an RCA 77DX, also recorded to tape. And then we have a stereo room mic, which is a sort of custom Sear Sound setup with a vintage Neumann bottle mic with a blue microphone capsule and combined with a stereo ribbon mic. And they all offer a different tone, so let's just quickly listen to the ooh legato with the different mics. I love the RCA mic, that's Close Mic 2. I think there's something about that figure 8 pattern that just captures maybe a reflection off the back of the room that really puts me in the vibe of a vintage recording session, and it really sits well in a track. I just want to let everyone know going in that you should not expect to be getting the sound of a pristine classical choir recording from this library, okay? I very intentionally set out to make something that has imperfections and personality and some grit to it. So that means allowing some noise to remain. It adds personality, it adds realism, a feeling of really being there in the room, and it's true to the era as well. Also, just in recording to tape, by its nature, it adds some noise and some harmonic distortion, and we wanted that. But that said, I did spend a lot of time cleaning up the samples because some noise reduction is, of course, always needed for the practicality of working with virtual instruments. But I also really agonized over each decision and tried to leave a fair amount in. So to make the library more flexible to use, I ended up with an approach of giving a range of options, and I did so by mic position. So what I mean by that is that the Close Mic 1 samples are the cleanest. Then Close Mic 2 has a bit more natural noise, and then the room mic has the most. I really tried to be sparing with the noise removal on that one. So that means if you're hearing too much noise for you, it's probably in the room mic, and you can turn that down or off completely to have a much clearer signal. Lastly, I just want to mention that there are a few effects at your disposal. The library was recorded to tape, but if you want an even more pronounced tape effect, you can turn up the tape knob to add drive, saturation, and high frequency roll-off. You can add reverb by turning up the echo knob. There's a custom reverb impulse response included that I think suits these samples very well, but you can also just turn this off and use your own dedicated reverb effect. And lastly, there's a transparent limiter. If you turn the limit knob counterclockwise, it lowers the threshold and more limiting will be applied. So that's the introduction to Space Age Voices. I really appreciate you taking the time to watch this video. I'm going to be posting another video that's more of an in-depth technical explainer about all the options and settings available to customize the instruments and get the most out of them. So keep an eye out for that. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to send me an email through the contact form on the website or put it in the comments below and I'll do my best to answer it. Thanks again for watching and we'll see you soon.